What's the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate? In another relationship would be like fire to smoke. Fire is creating the smoke or the exhaust off of it. They are always together, they always happen together, but they're less of a like completely opposing sort of thing as a twin flame is. Twin flames oppose each other, and soulmates attract each other. Hi, I'm Em.
And I'm Liv. And we're your PsycKicks.
Today, we're doing a Q&A. We asked questions on Instagram, and we're going to be answering those in the video today. So if you guys are interested in getting in on the next one, make sure to follow us on Instagram. But do you want to go first?
Okay, I like this one. It's by Urix. That's how I'm going to pronounce your handle. I hope I got it right. And Urix's question is, do plants and animals always have kind/nice souls and messages? No. I have talked to some, when people say that someone's catty, it's literally because the word comes from being a cat, I'm sure. You can fact check me on that, but that's my interpretation of it. I've talked to some cats that are not nice at all. I've talked to houses who have, and that's not even a plant or animal, but a house that's been super sassy too. So do they always have kind, nice souls? No. Sometimes they're sarcastic, crass, rude, obnoxious. Just like people, plants and animals are the same. I talked to a tree once that knew about my husband because he took acorns from this tree, and this tree was like, "Oh, tiny silly human, you thought that I didn't have any acorns last year that were fertile? Shame on you." He was like, "Let me show you how many acorns I can make." Yeah! It was really funny. So.
Yeah, my friend had a snake plant, and when they moved, they left the snake plant behind in their parents' house or whatever, and the snake plant was literally good riddance.
That's hilarious. But yeah, so just like people, plants, animals, and more old things that have acquired energy to them are just as sassy.
Next question. How did you find out that you are a medium? Were you scared when you saw someone for the first time? So, I figured out that I was a medium at the beginning of PsycKicks, and it was weird because I was under the impression that I was not a medium and that I was quote-unquote a psychic reading tarot until I described the fact that I was perceiving someone sitting across from me while reading tarot, and was told that that is in fact communication with souls, which is the definition of mediumship. But the first time I saw someone physically was, I think it was when I was in bed. I have an ensuite bathroom, and I woke up, sat up in bed, and there was someone standing in my bathroom, and I literally sat there for 5 minutes staring into the bathroom at this person staring at the mirror, because the door was half closed, so I saw this much of them staring into the mirror, and I literally just stared at them and was like, this isn't real, this isn't happening, I should get up and go check on that, but also I don't want to get up. So I went back to sleep.
That's funny.
But I've had other times where I've seen souls physically, but it's not scary unless they are presenting, unless they're a dark entity or a scary dude or something, you know?
No. Yeah, if you want to learn more about Em's journey for mediumship, you should watch our Spiritual Spankings 2022. That's a good video where you start to come to terms with it, but still don't really believe it. It's pretty funny. Do I have to answer that question?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've answered it a lot. I just didn't know if it was redundant. So, I've known that I was a medium when I was a child. So ever since I was about 8 years old, I started seeing people without faces. And fortunately enough, I had my mom to talk to. She is also a medium, so she was like, "You're not crazy, you just might be seeing dead people." And when that actually happened in my life, she was going through her own sort of spiritual awakening when it came to her mediumship, because as a child, her family actually, because of religious beliefs and other social things, was like, that's not real, you shouldn't do this, to the point of like my mom was taken to like the church priest and was talked to as a child, being told like, that's not normal, you don't do that, that's bad. So when I started doing it, she was spurred to be like, okay, maybe I should reevaluate myself and the things that I've experienced, even though I've been told that they were bad and I should ignore them, because now I have to help my kid. So that's how that happened. And then Em and I started PsycKicks, and she discovered she was a medium too, which is super fun. Sister Queen EJC says, how old are you guys? I'm 101. Em is 13. That will never change.
Is it possible for different people to have the same spirit guides? Yes, it is possible.
Wait, say that again. What was that question?
The question is it possible for different people to have the same spirit guides? And the answer is yes.
Interesting.
I have talked to several people that have spirit guides that are the same spirit guide. For example, I am one of those people. I have 2 Seraphim spirit guides that are like a rank of angel. I share them with my boyfriend. I've also talked to twins, and they also have the same spirit guide. I don't know, talking to twins is wild, especially with spirit guide readings, because I've talked to twins that have completely opposing spirit guides that are all opposites, and I've talked to twins that have like twin spirit guides, so they are like identical but they are separated. And then I've talked to twins where they have had the same spirit guide. So is it just a twin thing? No, because I share a spirit guide with another person. But I do think it's interesting. It's usually someone that you have a lot of connection with that you share that said spirit guide with. So you walk paths a really long time with each other. So what do you think?
I've never encountered that before. That's an interesting question. I feel like that could be possible, even though I haven't personally experienced it, because if you guys have, like, your spirit guides can be people that you've known in past lives. So if you've lived lives with another soul, or a person that's living right now, and your lives have had a lot of past lives together, then you might have known the same person or entity that's now your spirit guide in a past life, so they're going to be associated with both of you.
Well, the spirit guides that I've talked to that like share people, it's usually because they are like big impactful things within each other's life.
The people are? Or
Yeah.
the spirit guides?
The people are.
Okay.
Like, they're tied to each other in some way, shape, or form. So they share similar spirit guides because they're going to go through similar things
That's cool.
together.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Okay, so the Zeta _ wants to know, what if you want to speak to a spirit that has passed, but they have been reincarnated? You can, because when a soul reincarnates, the soul that you want to talk to is the same as the soul that has reincarnated, but also different, because you may be one person in one life and then another person in another life. So even though that's a past life of one soul that comes together to be a higher self, I'm like, it's higher. What is it called? That it's about you? Higher self. They're still separate. So my past life as a person from the 50s is going to be a past life of me, but different than who I am currently. So being able to talk to that soul is no different than talking to someone that has or hasn't reincarnated. It doesn't interfere with being able to communicate with them. Hope that answers your question.
Can animals have spirit guides? What do you think?
I think I've answered this question. Yes, they can, but they are also spirit guides themselves in a sense. It's almost like they're physical forms of a spirit guide sometimes.
Well, are you sure that your spirit guide is not just like going into their bodies and helping you with things, or are they just spiritual guides because they're not there for your entire life?
Well, I think they can be there for your entire life too, because even though your pet may pass, they can be reincarnated into another animal, and that's not always the case. Sometimes they're like, I was just there to help guide you in this one area. It's in, that even gets into like the weird aspect of your spirit guides come in at different times during your life. So when Emma and I do spirit guide readings or talk to your spirit guides, you might have spirit guides that are helping you right now, but that's not to say that there aren't other spirit guides that are existing and present in your life that are just waiting to come in at the right time to help you with certain things. So they're always there at a certain point in time. So when it comes to your animal being a spirit guide too, or having spirit guides, that doesn't negate the fact that they're coming in at a certain point of your life and then leaving and then coming back, but they're always technically there in some way, shape, or form, energetically, spiritually.
Well, I think animals have spirit guides. I usually see people with animals, and when I started doing mediumship, it was easier to talk to the people around said animals than it was to talk to the animal itself. But I don't know, I perceive these people to be guides for the animal.
The people around the animals?
Yeah, the people that I see, because sometimes they're not necessarily people, but I usually see them as people, but same with spirit guides.
Yeah. I think animals can have spirit guides and be spirit guides.
Well, I think all animals have spirit guides.
Mm-hmm.
Like us. Mm-hmm. Not can, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that they are spirit guides for people. I think they might be spiritual guides.
Mm-hmm.
Because they aren't in your life indefinitely.
Okay, this is a question that I feel like we've gotten a couple times on like video comments, podcast comments, and just comments in general. But specifically, this one's being asked by, I think it's Joan Cass _ and their question is, does vegan diet and activity level affect our vibrations, karma, and soul progression? I thought that was an interesting question. I've had people ask, like, does doing this affect this thing? And I feel like your choices of what you do in your life, regardless of if it's vegan or not, your activity level or lack thereof, affect your vibrations, karma, and soul progression. I feel like just incarnating in and of itself is a soul progression because it's going towards your spiritual enlightenment as a soul, basically. So it doesn't necessarily, I don't think you can say one thing is better than the other if you're talking about like vegan versus non-vegan and doing certain activities versus not doing certain activities. It's just what your soul's supposed to be doing, or one of the things that you've chosen to make your path in this life. So I don't think there's a good or a bad when it comes to those decisions or affecting your life vibration or progression as a soul.
Well, it could make you feel better, which would then in turn help raise your vibration.
Yeah, if it works for you, go for it.
So, I don't know if it's like, what, shadow work? Taking care of your body can have similar effects. But people think that if you're eating like lower vibrational foods like junk food, then you can't like talk to souls or something. And that's kind of interesting. So
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
People think that if you have a clean diet, you're more inclined to be higher vibrational, because people think that if you raise your vibration you can like communicate with souls potentially. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I feel like, yeah, I don't know if
I don't know that that's the case, but if you are doing it to better yourself, it's going to in turn help with your vibration, not in a like you're eating high vibrational food and that's doing it. No, you're like bettering yourself to help with your mood, that sort of thing.
Because everyone's diet and ability to eat things is different, so do what makes you feel good, I guess.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it's like when you do therapy like raises your vibration because you're like removing traumas and making yourself feel better, more accepted, that sort of thing. Same thing with food.
If I eat Pop Rocks, will it raise my vibration?
I don't know. Do you believe in possession?
I don't know. I feel like we talked about this in one of our podcasts, and the way my spirit guides explained it to me is that your soul has energy and like points in which your energy can be affected. And if you are quote unquote possessed, sort of like when you were a little kid on one of those like bridges that have the rope in between them or the wire, you know? And a kid jumps on them and then the other kid just like wobbles everywhere. It's kind of like that. Imagine you're standing on that little rope bridge as a kid on the playground, and your energy is the rope bridge. If a demon or whatever were to come to possess you, they're going to stand on the same rope bridge, which is your energy, and jump up and down, and it's going to affect you. That is the way my spirit guides have explained possession to me, but I feel like there's a lot more that goes into it than just like you can be possessed or you can't be possessed. I think there's a lot of like mentality about it, and the way people view it in and of itself that enables or doesn't enable it to be possible or a thing.
Well, they're explaining to me that this is a weird thing that I've never talked to you about before, but I feel like people have the ability to like sit in each other's energy in a sense, and I feel like entities can do similar things depending on who you are, depending on like energy levels and all of these like other details of things. But they could almost like be like co-conscious with you, but you're still there. They're not like overtaking you. But again, I feel like there's a lot of details that could potentially affect that to make it either a higher level, more like
scary,
hypnotized
possession,
manipulation sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I don't know, I've had like deities and things like that like sit in my energy and change the like confidence level that I've had about things. So why wouldn't like darker things be able to do similar stuff and disrupt the flow of energy of someone else to almost like manipulate them in a similar way to like hypnosis or something like that, but with an energy instead of a like sweet talking someone or something like that.
Oh yeah, jumping on their bridge.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay, I like this one. HLU89 or HLU89. Sorry, I don't know what it is. Your handle, that is. Asks, is the saying about robins being past loved ones true? So robins as in like birds being sent to you. And when I started doing readings professionally as a medium and trying to understand more about talking, well, just understanding my mediumship abilities and things like that, you always have like the cliches about mediums of one of the cliches I perceive at least is they say they talk to Native American spirits, and people talk to each other through birds and robins and stuff like that as like signs. And I used to think it was really silly and cliche, but there is truth and like fact to those things, and one of it is birds and robins. So is a bird or a robin in our person's comment true? And I was actually thinking about this the other day because I was talking to someone and their grandmother sends them ladybugs, but it's always been things that have wings or can travel, sort of. And I asked my spirit guides, I'm like, okay, why is this cliche a thing? Like, why is it true? Because it seems like such a cliche to me. So yes, it's true, because I've talked to many souls and past loved ones that do use robins, blue jays, robins, blue jays, cardinals, hawks, things like that, ladybugs, as messengers or like a symbol that your past loved one is looking in on you and checking up on you. And my spirit guide's explanation for this is because those creatures are usually messengers, and they have wings, so they can travel from places that people see as above to down below and look at you and interact with you, which is why human souls use that as a representation a lot as, quote, a message from spirit, because of the symbolism between the animals or the connections with the people they have. And I just was like, oh, okay, got it, cool, that's cute. You know, like messenger pigeons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Sokka, I need a messenger hawk.
So, what has been your scariest encounter with the paranormal?
My scariest encounter?
Yeah.
I feel like I had this, but my new one is the succubus lady in the basement of the Conjuring house.
Mm-hmm.
She's my new scariest encounter, because when we went there with Amanda from Mackie and Amanda, the encounter that I had with her in the library when Corey, the tour guide, was telling us about the experience that Carolyn Perrin had with the like Indians or Native Americans in the dream that were like taunting her, and then a woman came up and was like, get out of my house type thing. That was like when the dark entity succubus lady, specifically what I believe to be the succubus lady that also influenced Mr. Perrin, was, she like came out of the library and was like, that's me. And I was like, oh no, that's terrifying. Please don't ever talk to me again. And it was really hard for me, honestly, to stay in that room for the rest of the investigation portion that we were doing, because she's a no-go, Chancho.
So, my scariest paranormal occurrence, there's two that I can think of. The first one is I was in bed talking to my boyfriend about past, like, ghost on set we've been on, and just talking about, like, a completely different location. And it was dark because we were about to, like, fall asleep. And out of the, like, shadows of my sunroom, because I have, like, a sunroom that's attached, came this dude that was, like, balding. He was scary. His eyes were, like, blackened, and he had this, like, huge smile on his face. He, like, got in the bed with me, and it was, like, out of nowhere, because a lot of times when I do mediumship, it's easier to, like, focus on things when you're, like, aware of, okay, I'm gonna try to talk to souls, but when you don't try to talk to souls and they show up, that's where it, like, is, like, a jump scare, almost. So, this thing, man, person gets in the bed and then starts telling me, like, horrible things that he would like to do to me. So I switched spots with said boyfriend, and they got to deal with him laying next to them. So
that's terrifying.
That is the first one. The second one is when we went to Fairfield, and I should also preface that the dude that got in bed with us, we feel like he was from a location we hadn't gone to yet. But second one is at Fairfield, upstairs in the, like, attic dungeon area. There was this weird dark entity thing that called itself me. So I decided that it would be a good idea for me to go up there by myself. And I couldn't get past the door because I walked, like, halfway down the hallway and started seeing shadow figures, and I was like, never mind, I'm gonna go sit by the door. So I sat by the door, and I had, like, equipment set up, and there were just these little shadowy things coming up to me, and I was like, oh yeah, they're children. They were not children. They had, like, big scary smiles on their faces. And I thought that they were children because I was hopeful, because it used to be like an orphanage and a dungeon, but
At the same
time. So it was scary, but it also didn't help that it was, like, super windy. We were in a poor farm, so the building is already rickety, and everything, like, moves and shakes when when the wind blows, and it was horrifying. So you're welcome.
Okay, I really like the question that says, from No Hard Feelings, with 2 S's, and they ask, do you go to PsycKicks? The answer is yes, because it's really hard for me to read myself, and I always get really excited going to other, like, I go to an astrologer. I think she's also a psychic too, but she doesn't say that she is because I think it makes her uncomfortable, which is fine. But she's really good and fun, and it's always a fun time for me. I enjoy it all the time.
What's the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate? The reason why I wanted to do this is because I read someone last night, and it was super cute. So, a twin flame is, the way you know you're in a twin flame relationship is the other person is completely opposite you. So the way it's been explained to me is you exist and your exact opposite has incarnated because of you. So, for example, I'm a dead soul, Liv is a life soul. So, in order for life to exist, death also has to exist. It's kind of like push and pull, yin and yang, both of these things have to exist. So the way I like to explain it in a like physical sense is if you have your hand up, the light is going to cast a shadow on the ground. Both of these things have to exist at the same time in order for whatever to happen. So that is what a twin flame is. So when you find your twin flame, they do everything opposite you. So for example, Liv has big dog, I have small dog. Liv is a morning person, I am an evening person. Liv is a flower child, I crawled out of hell. That sort of thing.
I wouldn't say I'm a morning person. It's circumstantial.
You like the sun. I would like to never see the sun.
I do like the sun. I do like the moon though. It's a lot of differences.
Yeah. So, twin flame bullshit. A soulmate is someone that's kind of like a puzzle piece coming together. So they're different in the way in which that it's almost like they complete you. So the way that I have talked to soulmates in the past, I literally did a past life reading for someone yesterday in the Patreon Discord, and they were telling me that they really love like mossy trees and things like that, and immediately I was like, okay, you were fae being number one. But what's they're specifically telling me, because I was like, maybe you're a tree fairy because you like trees, they told me that you are the thing that is on trees, and they told me lichen. So she was a lichen fairy, and I look up what lichen does because their partner was incarnate in that life as well, and they have a lot of incarnations together, and their incarnation was water, and lichen transports water and nutrients to the rest of the forest, because that's what they were telling me this person as a fairy did, was like communication or like transporting things throughout the forest within the tree's roots, within the tree's like structure and stuff like that. So kind of like how moss does it, or lichen, that's what her soul was doing. But what's cute is the soulmate relationship is lichen is transporting water to support the forest. So it's kind of like that idea surrounding things. Or like another relationship would be like fire to smoke. Fire is creating the smoke or the exhaust off of it. They are always together, they always happen together, but they're less of a like completely opposing sort of thing as a twin flame is. Twin flames oppose each other, and soulmates attract each other. What are your thoughts? What?
Have you changed your perspective? Do you think twin flames have to incarnate at the same time?
Twin flames?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
They just exist at the same time.
Physically?
Like, no.
Okay.
As a soul.
Okay, that's
like,
what I just wanted to
life happens, death has happened. Both of those things have to exist at the same time. Light and dark exist at the same time.
Okay, because I just was wondering, when you explained that, I took it as they have to exist at the same time. Because I know we've done readings for people
They don't have to, like, be incarnate at the same time.
Yeah. Like, you might not even meet your twin flame in the real world, because you could live on one side of the world and they would live on the other, and you guys don't know that you exist. And then another is you are incarnating now, but your twin flame can be more of like a spirit guide or spiritual guide that's helping you in a more spiritual sense. Yep. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't change.
They still exist because they're like the balance. So you happen and the twin flame happens because you exist. Mm-hmm. So it is the universe. It's the universe's ability to balance itself.
So I agree with that, and I feel like a lot of times people think that soulmates are like one person, but I don't, in my personal opinion and belief, I don't think they're one person. I think soulmate is many people. Mm-hmm. Soulmates are people that are here to teach you lessons in your life or give you a new perspective about something. similar to a twin flame, but you're not twin flames, because twin flames don't have to be together their whole lives. They can be in their lives forever, like physically, like friends, or they can like meet and then not get along, or just not meet at all, things like that. But when it comes to soulmates are going to help teach you a perspective that you've been needing to learn, and they're never going to leave. It could be a hard relationship, but no matter what happens, they're always going to come back to you in a positive manner, because they're there to help you and help you progress, even though it might not be an easy relationship.
Soulmates?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've learned from doing a lot of email readings and a lot of personal readings too. We just got done recording a podcast before this, and we mentioned Project Stargate, like just very, very briefly. So 24 karat Jules, or 25K Jules, ask, what are your thoughts on the CIA trying to learn and teach remote viewing? I think it's funny. I would like to be a part of those projects, just because I want to be scientifically analyzed with my mediumship and psychic abilities. Like, I need that in my life, and I want someone to do it, and if I could do it for the CIA, that would be even just more clout and coolness.
Well, I've seen people on TikTok that do the similar methods, and they teach kids how to know what's like in a closed envelope.
Know when to hold them. Know when to fold them.
They'll put like a shark, like a picture of a shark in an envelope, and the child will like have a blindfold on. It's in an envelope, and they'll be like holding it like this, and they'll get specific information through their intuition, like, it's wet, I see like water, and it's like some sort of animal, and then they'll say shark. But it's really wild, because those TikToks, I've always seen them like, they're correct.
Was it
and I can't do that.
People on TikTok asking children this, or is this the government taking children and asking them to do this?
It is people on TikTok that have used the teachings that they used for whatever project you're talking about, in order to teach them intuitive things like that. Because they explained at the beginning of the video that they would use certain intuition tactics in order to, I don't know, give to the military to get like intel on things. So they thought if they could do that, then they would be able to like not put someone in a dangerous environment, but use their intuition to figure out information in a closed room or something like that.
I feel like it's, at that point, it's 6 to have one dozen of another of, do you want to just create a tiny little robot with a camera, or do you want to try and have someone with remote viewing capabilities do the same thing? I feel like the risk factors are just not the same, because remote viewing is not the same. But I don't know. I think we talked about this in one of our podcasts too, where you're limited on how much information you're allowed to know. Like, people think that psychic abilities, another person's question on here was like, what is one of the funnier things that people ask you as a medium? And one of those things is like, what's my name? What's the winning lottery numbers? Things like that. I feel like when it comes to the CIA asking people to use remote viewing, it might fall underneath the same category of what's my name and what are the winning lottery numbers. And that's like stuff that mediums and psychics can't get, because it's not how your spiritual gifts work. But would it be cool to be a part of it and be scientifically tested? Yes. Am I up for it? Yes. The CIA.
Well, I don't think they're like testing you like a monkey. I think they're teaching people how to use their intuition.
You think?
That's what it said in the TikTok.
Okay. I don't know a lot about Project Stardate. I literally read just a small excerpt.
Yeah, no, they were literally teaching people how to use their intuition so that they would be able to remote view.
Interesting. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be fun.
Okay, one last question. Okay, I know you both have seen deities, but have you seen entities from folklore as someone's spirit guide?
Yes. No? I don't know.
What do you mean, yes, no, I don't know.
Well, we've talked to someone that has a spirit guide as Freya. That's folklore. But is she a spirit guide? I want to say yes. But my brain also goes, when you ask deities, some certain deities are just associated to you, and is that a spirit guide? It just gets.
But they're not talking about deities, they're talking about folklore. Have you seen entities from folklore as someone's spirit guides?
Oh, yes. I've had dragons be people's spirit guides. But again, when we talk about spirit guides, the way that Emma and I perceive your spirit guides isn't necessarily what they look like. It's representative of who they are, their personality, and what they represent to you. And that usually conveys information. The way they convey themselves to us, your spirit guides, will give us information about them. So people might see them, like different psychics or mediums could see or perceive them differently.
Have you talked to any deities lately?
Have I talked to any deities lately? Mm-hmm. I feel like I've been talking to Athena a little bit, but not like consciously or actively. It's like things that have passed my mind. So I feel like she's around me for whatever reason.
Yeah, I've talked to Athena before. She told me that she doesn't like me because I break the rules. So she's kind of like Hermione.
Yeah, she is like Hermione.
Mm-hmm.
She's the goddess of knowledge and war, like tactics. She's very smart.
I've been talking to the Morrigan.
Is that a Celtic thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, the three-headed deity lady who represents herself as a crow. She has 3 different sides. She's
like Hecate, the Celtic deity that's like Hecate.
Yeah.
But she's a goddess of war.
Mm-hmm.
I see the red-headed version of her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which version is the red-headed version associated with?
I have no idea. I just know that she's red-headed.
Well, I know she's also representative of fertility too, and like precognition, so knowing the outcomes of future events.
Interesting.
Yeah, for her energy for me is like banging on a timpani drum.
So, if you like this kind of content, make sure to let us know down below. Make sure to follow Instagram so you can get on the next one. But make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
We are your meta PsycKicks.